Gentlemen, welcome back to the Tiege Hanley Starting a Business, Building Your Brand vlog. This one, big number 269. So today, I want to talk about data. More specifically, what you do with it. Because as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, it is all about the data and understanding how to look at it, how to read it, how to decipher it, and how to make decisions based on the information or the data that you're collecting. One of the things that we did really bad at Tiege Hanley up until, well, actually, we're just figuring it out now, if I'm being completely honest, was the analysis of data, right? Data. What is data? Data is all the information from everywhere. Whether or not it's your customer data, your advertising data, your website data, your product data, like there is data everywhere. Everything is data. You've got to figure out as a business how to harness, how to channel, how to collect this data, but more importantly than collecting it, you need to figure out how to actually analyze it to make decisions, because the decisions that you make, just like kind of like winging it, like I think, or I suspect, or maybe this will do this, unless you actually are collecting the data and understanding how spending money correlates to customer behavior, you're going to basically just be guessing. And a lot of the guessing can be very expensive. And one of the reasons why a lot of businesses go out of business is because they are not analyzing the data. They are not spending money based on actual things that are happening. They're basing their decisions in terms of spending money or advertising or marketing dollars on assumptions. And you know what they say, when you assume things, what happens? Exactly. You make an ass out of you and me. You also make some really expensive business decisions. Tiege Hanley has not been doing a great job collecting data and analyzing the data. Because like we said, with Google Analytics, you have a lot of data like at your fingers. But it's not just about having it, it's about how to pull it in, and then what to do with it, how to analyze it, how to look at it in order to make those right decisions. It is literally impossible to run a business profitably, successfully, if you are not understanding the data in terms of if you spend X number of dollars, you get this back. But it's not as simple as that, unfortunately. You know, the other thing that you're going to realize once you start really digging in, and the thing that Tiege Hanley has really uncovered, is that certain customers are more valuable. Certain customers, in terms of the acquisition strategy, are more valuable to us long term. One of the sexy buzzwords you hear all the time is LTV, or lifetime value. What is the lifetime value of your customer? All right. Also, how do you know how much you can actually spend on acquiring a customer? You also hear like everywhere, like, what is the customer acquisition cost? That is another, really, really, really important number that you need to figure it out. How much does it cost you to get a customer? And some people will be like, oh, it costs X dollars because they ran an ad. There's, a Google Analytics like report that says this is how much, it actually costs to acquire a customer. Is it really? And if you really start to understand and peel back the onion, you realize that there are a lot of other things that are at work, a lot of other cogs that are sort of helping that situation happen. And I know that this is kind of abstract and a little bit all over the place, but what I'm trying to emphasize and really get across to you is you need to understand how your customer interacts with your brand, how you're acquiring them, how much it costs you to actually keep them, and what is the journey of that customer. And that is the thing that Tiege Hanley has worked incredibly hard to understand. We've even gotten even more granular, like, okay, certain states, certain cities are more valuable to us. Like, once you start really looking at all of the data, it's going to be a little bit overwhelming. But like I said, it's not just about getting it and collecting it. Like, okay, I've got all this data here. What do I do with it? How do I decipher it? How do I connect the dots? Another issue that you're going to run into when it comes to analyzing data, like a lot of people think like Google Analytics is like the end-all be-all. Now, it is good. It is great. It is an amazing, resource, and really does like generate a ton of information. But one of the downsides is that it does have limitations. And if you're just looking at basic, oh, this is how much it costs to acquire this customer, that ain't telling you the whole story. I heard something that it takes typically, in order to get a customer, like 8 different touches, right? A general customer needs to see your brand or see you talking about a product 8 different times before they actually make a buying decision. And so when you see like a Google Analytic, they typically are going to only attribute like the last click. Meaning like, all right, so you got X number of clicks and X number of sales, and this is what the dollar amount that you spent in order to get it. Well, what you're not actually looking at is where did this customer see your message the first time? Was it an influencer? Was it a static banner ad and they didn't click or they didn't buy right then? There's a lot more that goes into it than just last click attribution. And this is something that you need to understand. But if you're not knowing this, you sort of fall into the trap of thinking that everything you're seeing in terms of Google Analytics is the reality when there's so much. It's almost like the tip of the iceberg and then the water and then the bigger iceberg, that whole thing, right? You're only seeing the tip until you understand and really have an ability to look at big picture sort of on a macro level. You're not going to understand like really what the cost is and what that situation looks like, what that glacier looks like underneath the surface of the water. Until you understand what that point is or what that customer acquisition cost needs to be in order to take this customer, the average customer, and make a profit on them, until you know that, you are just going to be throwing a ton and wasting a ton of money just trying to basically delude yourself and thinking, oh, I got this customer for $50, when the reality is there was $60 spent to get him to spend $50. But until you understand all of the pieces, until you can connect the dots, you're not going to know, and you're going to waste a ton of money. Even things like, okay, if you have a customer and they buy X product, right? And then you look at all the data from all your customers, and then you figure out, oh my God, well, a customer that bought this is 62% more likely to buy this product as an add-on as opposed to customer B who bought that, but that customer is more likely to add this product on. Gentlemen, it is all over the place, and you can get lost in the numbers, but if you can harness them and figure out how to actually read them and which ones are valuable, it can totally change the business. It can change the game. It can also change the trajectory of your business and the growth of it. But if you don't figure that out, gentlemen, you know, if you're like, yo, why am I thinking that I can acquire a customer for this, but I'm losing money? Gentlemen, until you know what is happening, you're never going to ultimately really be able to grow your business, because once you figure out where that customer lives, once you figure out what cost or what method you can actually, even like the messaging, what message gets a higher percentage of click-throughs, what message is going to resonate better with the customers from the specific city that are more valuable. I'm talking like it spider webs super fast. And Tiege Hanley is, right now we are trying to take this spider web, figure out what strands we don't need to pay attention to, and then how to direct everything into buckets that we then can use this information in order to make educated decisions in terms of marketing, in terms of spending, in terms of customer satisfaction. It's all about the journey mapping. Until we can figure out if we spend dollar X here, it's going to lead to X dollar there, and this is the roadmap that it takes in order to get there. That is what you're trying to figure out. But guess what? It just got even more complicated and crazy because there was a recent Apple update that is totally going to F up the analysis of spending money in advertising on Facebook. If you guys don't know what that is or what I'm talking about, just Google search it and you'll get some information. But it is going to be more challenging now to figure out where customers are coming from and how the money that you're spending is actually translating into dollars because of an Apple-like thing. And so it's going to get even more challenging to sort of analyze the data. And so this is a big deal in terms of, you know, paid traffic, paid advertising world, but it's something at Tiege Hanley that we are trying to figure out and try to navigate and massage as well. And you can waste ungodly amounts of money if you don't know how to analyze this data. We're getting close. We're not there 100% yet, but this is something that this year we will definitely have our hands and our heads around, and we are really excited because once we figure this out, then it's as they say, like pouring gas on the fire. Once you understand what you can spend, where they're coming from, how to go out and get them, what their customers like journey looks like, that's when you can really like sort of like go and you can really try to scale. And so this year we got big plans, we got big goals, but it all does boil down to the data. And so I guess the takeaway once again is you've got to look at all of the information before you just start making things that you think or decisions based on assumptions. Remember, assumptions will make an ass out of you and me, and you will also potentially go broke. That was all over the place. I apologize. My brain isn't working as well as it should because I am tomorrow having my procedure, aka colonoscopy, and so today is the real fun day where you don't get to really eat anything and you're on a liquid diet, and in approximately 2 hours, I'm going to start the party in terms of drinking that fun stuff that's going to absolutely clean me out. And so today, all I've really had to eat is Jell-O, water, and some black coffee. So my brain is a little mushy at this point, but I'm still sharper than 95% of people out there because I'm an entrepreneur. And if you are an entrepreneur and have an incredible business question, down below, why don't you start it with business question and ask your question. This blog is all about you and helping you on your entrepreneurial journey. But as you start down that path, you better start looking, eye on the prize, data immediately. Don't wait. Start when you start your business. All right, so there are a few business questions, not a ton, but a few that I would like to get to. And the first one is from Pure Water Sales. And he says, when first starting out with a business YouTube channel, how much content should you put out? Is it truly quantity over quality with it in the beginning, or do you just flood the content or the channel to keep it in people's feeds? Also, is there a time that seems to be the sweet spot? I've done two. One was 7 minutes and the other one around 2. I noticed that Alpha M channel is normally 7 to 9, but Tiege's longer. All right, so this is a question about using YouTube as a promotional tool for your business. And this is something where, okay, so for the record, Joey, I would like to officially say congratulations putting your videos out there. Joey is a longtime viewer, a longtime friend of mine and the Alpha M YouTube channel, along with the Tiege Hanley channel. Joey has a business where he sells water purification systems. And he sells them a lot cheaper than you're going to be able to find most places. You know, YouTube is an amazing opportunity. If you have a business, whether or not you are selling water purification systems, you are selling supplements, you are selling sunglasses, you are selling wallets, cameras, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. If you have a service, if you've got knowledge in a specific area, you should be putting out YouTube content. And the reason is pretty simple, is that YouTube is literally the second largest search engine next to Google. People go to YouTube to find things, to solve problems, and to learn. And so if you have an experience or you have knowledge in a specific area that is going to benefit other people, why not put a video out there? It is totally free, and that's the other thing. In terms of marketing and your ROI, return on investment, how much does it cost to put out a video on YouTube? Maybe you need to get a camera, but the truth is, you could use your phone that most people have. As long as you have an internet connection, Google Gmail account is free. All you need is a Gmail account, and you can start a YouTube channel. And so every single one of you, if you're an entrepreneur, you should be having a YouTube channel talking about things that you are an expert on. Because the beautiful thing is that people are going to go, they're going to look, they're going to see your video, and then if you're smart, if you direct people, hey, down below, hit that link down below for more information, direct them somewhere. So the flow works like this. Somebody searches for something, in this case, best home water purification system out there, right? They search it, right? Boom. Joey's video pops up. Ooh, let me watch this. Joey is hey, in my experience, this is the best program. This is the best this. I can also save you money. If you're interested, hit that link down below. Go sign up or contact me. And then when they go to the website, what happens? Exactly. You sign up for some type of free giveaway, whether or not it's 10 best, water purification hacks to drink cleaner water, or sign up for a newsletter to get monthly updates on how to get this, right? That's the whole flow. And then they give you their email, and then once you have that, boom, you got them, right? And so in terms of a customer to potentially market to. And so back to Joey's question in terms of what is the sweet spot? You got to put out content. What I recommend is at least one video a week, right? I know that when people first start, they get really amped up. They're I'm going to put out, 6 videos a week or 5 videos a week or whatever it is. You've got to do something that is going to be able to be maintained, because one of the problems that a lot of YouTubers or people that put out content is they'll go hot and heavy and then they'll stop and they'll have a drought. YouTube rewards consistency. So whether or not that's once a month, once a week, once every 2 weeks, whatever it is, you've just got to find a cadence and something that is comfortable to you. In terms of quantity versus quality, I think it's a balance, and you've got to decide and figure out that for yourself. I would probably err on the side of quantity versus quality, especially in the beginning stages. Like, your videos are going to suck in the beginning. You're going to hate them. You're going to be like, oh my God, I don't even want to look. Like, it's brutal to watch yourself on camera. The first, it's still, like, sometimes it's still brutal for me, 12 or 13 years later. You've just got to get into the habit of working that muscle, right? And the muscle that I'm talking about is content creation, messaging, filming yourself, and putting a piece of content out there. Don't worry, don't get hung up in the quality of it, like sexy, like intros and transitions. Just get something out. Good enough oftentimes is done. The last business question we're going to talk about is an amazing one from our friend Dr. Cliff. Cliff, Doc, what's going on? He says, I've been building my personal brand online over the past 4 years. Once again, he's a business, audiology, but he's building his brand online. So the question revolves around the issue that he runs into is replacing himself. The people who watch my videos online always want to see me. He's an audiologist, right? And so they see you, the person, the personality on the videos, and so when they contact you, they don't want to see Dr. Dan. They want to see you because you're the person that they've come to know, come to feel comfortable with, and trust as the expert. And so, incredible question. He says, should I have my associates create videos on my channel to get their faces out there, or should I do something else to grow my audiology clinic without me having to see all of the patients myself? So this is an amazing question, because you're absolutely right. It's something where when you put content out there, and for Joey, if Joey is the expert, like say Joey was going into people's homes to do, water installs and stuff like that. If you send like your associate, they're probably going to be a little bit bummed out because they're like, I saw Joey. I want to hang out and talk to Joey, and he's the expert that I've come to know, love, and trust. The one thing that you are going to have to understand is that when you do YouTube videos, when you get a customer from that, when you're putting information out there, people they trust you, right? They trust you, they look to you for that information. And so if you're building your business and then you try to scale that business and they want to see you, if it's a service business, you are limited to the amount of time, the amount of people, the amount of patients, the amount of services that you specifically can do. So personally, what I would probably recommend to test this out is start bringing your associates that work with you into your videos. Get people familiar with them. Get people familiar or comfortable or trusting them. And then these individuals or these associates can do their own videos possibly, or just the simple fact of them being with you and you sort of like validating and vouching for them, that's going to make your ability or your job sort of offloading some of these customers to them much easier, because, okay, you're not seeing me, but you're seeing so-and-so, which they've already met, they already feel comfortable with. And so that is how I would handle this situation. That is where I'm going to wrap things up. Gentlemen, down in the comments, if you've got a business question, start it with business question and ask your question. Next week, we're going to get to some more of your business questions, also give you some more Tiege Hanley updates. But the bottom line is that you need to start analyzing the data. It is this data that is going to allow you as an entrepreneur to make smart decisions, educated financial decisions, also educated customer decisions, brand decisions, decisions that are going to dictate the trajectory, not to mention the success of your brand. But if you don't pay attention, if you don't know what you're looking at, this ultimately could lead to failure. And I personally think that's unacceptable, because you are a lot of things. A failure is not one of them. And as always, remember, gentlemen, we love you more than our, say it with me, double monk strap shoes. And by the way, if you haven't dropped one of these on this video, do it, because, well, we need it. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being a part of this. We couldn't do any of it without you.